If you are looking for a great beach read or something while you're waiting for the kids, picking them up in school, or just something fast and entertaining, you're going to love my next author. Her name is Malin Forsman, and she wrote Bad Habits Die Hard. This is a thriller romance, and we welcome you, Malin.
Thank you so much.
So we're glad that you're here. Love the book. It's fun. It's an easy read, and it's just really enjoyable. I'd love for you to share what generally the message is in the book.
Well, I was, starting to travel when I was 16, and I got the possibility to live with my aunt who worked for a billionaire couple in Palm Beach. So I lived in the West Wing. So in this book, Bad Habits Die Hard, I pictured the main character in Palm Beach on Clarendon Avenue, and that his mother was killed in the pool
Oh,
and he
wow.
founds her. So it's very dramatic, and the mob is following him every step he takes. And then he end up years later meeting this famous author, Pamela Andrews, and they connect beautifully. And that's the adventure. It starts right there.
So I know that you've traveled a lot of the world. You're in Spain right now. Do you
Yes, I live
think
in.
that have your travels, have your world travels, do you see them in this book?
Of course, yes. And in the book Bad Habits Die Hard, they are in Hawaii, Seattle, Mexico, and New York. And I've been everywhere, but not in Mexico. So I did a lot of research what's going on over there. I knew that Acapulco was very popular,
Mhm.
during the time with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton and Frank Sinatra. And in the 80s when Dynasty was, all over the
Yeah.
televisions. But now it's a tough place. So that chapter is called No Fun in Acapulco instead of Fun in Acapulco with the Elvis movie.
Oh, fun. Mullen, you love drama. I mean, you're
Oh, I
a
love it. I've been on
theater
stage. I've been on stage since I was a little girl.
and you write like that. You write with enthusiasm and passion. Share more about just your attitude and because it just comes through your book so beautifully.
Oh, thank you. Well, I was blessed with a good childhood, but when I
Mm,
was 10, my parents divorced. It was hell
mm.
for me because I missed my father so much. But my childhood was magical, and my father saw me so much and gave me so much love and attention, and he loved strong women. So I didn't understand it was a man's world until I was 34.
Okay. And then it was a rude awakening, like, "What's going on?"
I know. I was like, and then I met a man who was really in love with me, and we were together for 11 years. But anyway, my dad has meant the world to me, and he always believed in me. And I think you have to, although, love yourself
Yeah,
despite of what, because
yeah.
nobody's totally on your side. And if you love yourself, you can give a lot to other people, and you meet fantastic friends. And that's how karma works.
Mhm. I'm taken by how positive you are because you are open about kind of suffering a little bit with some depression and
Yes.
other, issues like that, but you're
Yeah.
so positive, you've overcome that. Can you kinda share that personal side of your life?
Sure. Uh, Being bipolar, there's a lot of creative people who are that, like
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., Maria Carey, and so forth. And I didn't feel anything in my childhood, but when I turned 14, it started to that I was begun to be depressed for an hour, and then I was happy, and it was so I skipped school and went home to our house and read Jackie Collins and ate chocolate. And then I became so much happier. And I listened to Elvis, Suspicious Minds, and And I got my first Elvis record when I was 5. So I was born to love America, and I've been all over there. And I met this guy Ross in 1990 in Hawaii, and he's the inspiration for the character Rory.
You know, Malin, something that's really interesting about you is that you talk about having been rich and having been poor. I mean, you're just so adaptable. Talk to me about what each of those instances have taught you.
Well, I met a wealthy man when I was 34, and we became, a couple. We were engaged for 11 years. We never got married. And we had a mansion in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, where people like Ford and Dodge and all these industrial pioneers lived, and it was a lot of beautiful mansions. So we bought an old 14 room mansion.
Oh my.
Yeah, and it was built in 1913. And he had a lot of real estate islands and everything. And I didn't get not much from him when he died, because he died of severe cancer. But
Oh,
I never stopped believing in myself. I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah.
have to think about, I'm very adaptable. I have a 60 square meters apartment here. It's a big terrace and everything. I have everything I need, great friends. And I think, you have to be me, myself, and I. And I love to adapt myself. I lived everywhere. So it's nothing I feel that I lack.
Yeah, you have such a peace and contentment about you. There's something very special in that, that you don't see in a lot of people. And I can clearly see now how this is coming through your books and through your writing. You just have a joy and contentment that is
I
very
do. I
attractive.
appreciate life, the small things, the big things, and just to be. I just recently went to Sweden for 10 days, and I saw my godmother. She has a lot of land in a beautiful little village, and we had a great time. And she gave me so much soul food. And also, my dad did all his life. So
Mhm,
I was loved from the start. And even though I went through some horrible time with my bipolarity, I never stopped believing. And after a horrible incident, I started working full time after 2 weeks. And
mhm.
um, I'm just happy about life. I was born happy.
So, one of the things that obviously makes you happy because 'cause you're very good at it is writing. So,
Oh, yes.
Bad Habits Die Hard is not your only book.
No, I've written 6 books so far, and 4 books have been published in Sweden. And Louise Becomes Lisette was translated to America, and it's also available on YouTube. It's a historical novel about a poor maid who emigrates to New York and climb the social ladder and becomes the toast of Manhattan during the Roaring Twenties. So I did a lot of research: what restaurant was open, what places people went, in the 20s,
Mm. Mhm,
and they always travel to Hawaii and California, where I've been myself, or
mhm,
you know. So I put a lot of myself in there, because in middle school we were taught about the Roaring Twenties in New York when I was 11, 12, and I was just starstruck. I mean, I just love the long necklaces, champagne,
yes.
beautiful people. And even if I do admire the good life, I also love the simple life. And I think that makes you in harmony, because you don't I never competed with anyone. I just went my own way. And a lot of people have been sometimes mean in Sweden because I went my own way, and they become jealous or something. But I
You
never.
have to be true to yourself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to be true. And I never been envious of anyone. I just feel inspired. And I have beautiful friends in Sweden and all over the world. So I'm lucky, I guess.
So we're starting to kind of close down this interview, but I'd
Yeah.
love to know what when someone reads your book, Bad Habits Die Hard,
Yes.
what do you hope that they think or they feel or they say about it?
Well, I hope they can have a laugh and also feel passionate about the characters, because and the traveling within it, and just make them feel good.
It's a way for them to travel around the world by
Yeah,
sitting in a beach chair, right?
exactly. And Bad Habits Die Hard is not that long, but it has everything you need for entertainment. And Louise Becomes Lisette is far more longer and it's more complicated, but they're both out there, Barnes and Nobles and YouTube, and I hope you love it. And please get back to me with your comments.
Comments and reviews. The reviews really mean a lot, don't they?
Oh, it does, Suzanne. And you're so lovely. And I hope your cat is all right.
Thank you. We were having a discussion before about the cat. She was crying outside of the door, so we're all good.
Oh,
Malin, we want to thank Prime 7 Media for making this interview possible. You are so
yes.
lovely. You are just a light in the world. And thank you
Oh,
so much for being part of the show today.
oh, now I get emotional. And you should know that Edward and Mark at Prime 7 are just top notch. So I'm happy.
We're glad to get those little shout outs. Malin, have a great day.
Thank you. And buy
Thank you.
Bad Habits Die Hard. You
Buy
won't regret
it.
it.
Buy it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Have a good one.